Hi, I'm Robert.
Hi, I'm Yudee.
And this is Eastland English. Today, we're going to guide you step by step through an English proficiency exam tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to teach you strategies about how to answer questions on your English proficiency exam, as well as things like pronunciation and vocabulary.
Today, I will act as a student. This can help you feel more comfortable.
Excellent. That's very helpful, Yudee. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, let's get started. Instructions. Choose the best answer to complete the sentence. Number 1. They blank notes about the presentation when the lights went out, so nobody could see their notes. A. Were taken. B. Are taking. C. Were taking. D. Were take. What do you see here, Yudee?
I can see the time clue here, when.
Excellent.
Yes, right. And the other word is went is verb 2.
Verb 2. Excellent. That's Thai shorthand for the past simple form of the verb. Thais use verb 1, verb 2, and verb 3 for what we call the bare infinitive, the past simple, and the past participle. All of that, that's a mouthful. That's a lot to say. I think the Thai shorthand is better. Verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. For example, sing, sang, sung. Verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. When is a subordinating conjunction, and what follows this subordinating conjunction is a simple past sentence. That tells us what about this sentence?
An activity was going on.
Yeah, that's perfect. An activity was going on. These tests often test your knowledge of when and while. And when is used with the simple past, and when you have this kind of sentence, they're usually looking for what?
Past continuous.
Past continuous.
Yes,
perfect.
right.
So which can we cut?
I will immediately cut B. because it's a present continuous.
Perfect. Anything else?
A as well.
Good. Why?
Because it's a passive voice.
Yeah, it is passive voice. Excellent. So that's past passive voice. That's not what we're looking for. So we're left with C and D. Which ones of these two?
I think C, verb B, and then verb ing.
Yeah, verb ing. So we have the past tense of be plus verb ing equals past continuous. Good job, Yudee.
Thank you.
So C, we're taking. Number 1 should be, they were taking notes about the presentation when the lights went out, so nobody could see their notes. Number 2, all purses, bags, and carry-on luggage blank at the inspection point after passengers have provided proof that they have a valid ticket. A, have been scanned. B, are scanned. C, are scanning. D, have scanned. Okay, Yudee, what do you think? What about our subject here?
The subjects are things, and things cannot do anything.
Yeah, that's perfect. So that tells us what?
There must be a passive voice.
Yeah, perfect. It must be passive voice. Quite often you'll have what appears to be a subject and then a verb form, and you have to determine, is the verb passive or is the verb active? And the verb is scan. Scan means to look carefully at something, and you know purses, bags, and carry-on luggage cannot do anything. They cannot look closely at anything. So it's pretty easy. This must be passive voice. So if it's passive voice, which others can we cut?
I think I will cut C.
Yeah.
Because verb B and then verb ing.
Excellent.
Right? So this is a present continuous.
Yes, it is present continuous. Good
Yes,
job.
right.
And what about D?
D is a present perfect.
Yeah, and both of these are active voice, so we can cut C and D right away. The only thing that's left is now, do we use the present perfect passive voice or the simple present passive voice? And in this case, we have a sequence of events that is a ritual or a fact, something that happens all the time. So with that in mind, it's likely going to be the present tense. And then we can check as well, this process, things happen here after passengers have provided proof that they have a valid ticket, all of this happens before this. Because of the after, we know this happens after, not this happens after. So therefore, it must be are scanned. This is a bit of a trick because of the use of the present perfect here and the use of the verb have makes people think, oh, probably should be have been scanned because we see it here. But no, these things have happened before this happens. All right? So the answer is
B-boy.
B-boy, are scanned. So number 2 should read, all purses, bags, and carry-on luggage are scanned at the inspection point after passengers have provided proof that they have a valid ticket. Number 3, remember to complete the section regarding next of kin, blank, you hand in the documents at the counter. A, as well as. B, after. C, through. D, before.
Before you explain this, I have a question.
Okay.
What does next of kin mean?
Okay, next of kin. Next of kin is very common on legal forms, legal documents, for example, visa applications or passport applications, and especially insurance applications. Next of kin means your closest living relative, who you would want contacted in case something horrible happens to you. If you die or if you get seriously injured, who do they call? That's very specifically what next of kin means. All right, Yudee, what do you think about this question?
I think I will cut A immediately.
Oh, good. All right.
Because it's an equative.
Right.
Right. As well as.
Yep.
The word comes after this one must be a noun.
Excellent. Yeah, as well as is an equative form, and what must follow that in this case would be a noun. So if you had remember to complete the section regarding next of kin, as well as handing in the documents, it might work for grammar, but it still wouldn't work in the meaning. Similar to our last question, this is a process. One thing happens before, and then one thing happens after. So we can cut as well as, because as well as is an equative, and it also requires a noun after it. So we're left with after, through, and before.
Based on the meaning, this one must be before.
Yeah. Yeah, based on the meaning, it must be before. Right. There's another way that you can cut through as well. You have a full sentence here and a full sentence here. You have the verb. This is a command kind of sentence, a verb and an object. And here you have the subject and a verb. And what needs to come here is some kind of subordinating conjunction. And the only two that we have are after and before. And of course, based on the meaning, it must be before. So D, before. Remember to complete the section regarding next of kin before you hand in the documents at the counter. Number 4. Although the event was extremely well publicized, virtually no one actually showed blank. A, up. B, over. C, when. D, on. What do you think about this one?
This one is clearly testing you about the preposition.
Yeah.
And the keywords here is showed, right? And I use this one so often. Can I tell them the answer now? Okay,
let's let them guess first. Okay. Have you guessed? Okay. Got it? Locked in? Okay. You sure? All right.
Yes, right. So I always should showed up, right? Yeah. To appear, right? This one.
Showed up does mean to appear, and these are testing phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs always have some kind of verb plus a preposition. Now, some of these are prepositions and some of them are not. So if you know they're testing a phrasal verb, you can delete one of these that isn't a preposition. Do you know which one isn't a preposition?
When.
Yeah, when is not a preposition. And so showed up, showed over, or showed on. What Yudee said is, I knew it right away because I use it so often.
Yeah.
And that is the key to English. If you want to learn English, just use it as much as possible. All right, let's move on.
Right.
All right, I'll read the sentence as an example first. Number 4, although the event was extremely well publicized, virtually no one actually showed up. Number 5. Temperatures around the globe continue to blank regardless of whether or not we have determined the causes. A. Evaluate. B. Emanate. C. Escalate. D. Emulate. This is a tough one. It's all based on vocabulary.
I have to confess, this one is quite difficult for me. Right.
Yeah, it's difficult for everyone because it's a vocabulary question, and vocabulary questions are often quite difficult. They make them difficult specifically to test how many words you know, how much vocabulary is in your brain. And in this case, you can see we have 888. They're all related, but the prefixes make them completely different words. So, I know you told me before, it's a secret. You told me before you guessed this one correctly.
Yes, right.
How did you guess it correctly?
First, I have to look at the subject. Here, temperatures.
Yeah,
right?
good.
Temperatures can go up, go down, or stay still.
Yep.
So then when I scanned for the choices here, I immediately look at C, escalate, because I like to go shopping, right? And then from the first floor and the second floor, I have to take escalator. So I guess escalate.
Yes, that's right. It is escalate. And that was the trick that I was going to share with our viewers as well, is that if they see a word that they recognize part of, it's probably related to the meaning. And in this case, you're absolutely right. To escalate does mean to go up, and an escalator takes you up from one floor to another.
Yes.
All right, so just for the sake of our vocabulary fanatics, let's explain the others. Evaluate means to assess the value, and you can see value in here. It means to determine the worth of something. Emanate means to come out of something. And emulate means to simulate or act like something or act like someone. All right, so number 5 should be, temperatures around the globe continue to escalate regardless of whether or not we have determined the causes. Number 6, Dr. Lee examined the contents of his briefcase carefully, blank, locate the source of the strange beeping sound. A, and. B, in order to. C, due to. D, so. All right, have you picked an answer? Great.
Are you asking me? Or you
I'll ask
them?
you now. I was asking them, but I'll ask you now. Have you got one?
Yes.
Okay, what have you got?
Well, before I will tell you the answer, I have to tell you what I think first, right?
Okay, good.
Okay, I look at the word locate.
Good.
Locate is a verb.
Yep.
Right? So then I will cut C, due to.
Good.
Because the word comes after due to must be a noun.
Yeah, that's excellent. This is kind of tricky because normally the word to does come before verbs, but in this case due to goes together, and due to must have a noun after it. So due to the beeping, perhaps, but not due to locate. You cannot have it because what follows due to must be a noun. Good.
Okay, so then probably D, I guess, because so you need a comma.
Yes, good job.
Right?
We need punctuation before so. All right.
Okay, so I already got my answer.
What's your answer?
B, in order to.
Yeah, you're excellent. You are right. In order to. When you have a bare infinitive and it's followed by a verb in the sentence, you probably need to. It's not 100% of the time, but probably need to. And this is the only form that has to before it. You could have and drop the to if this were verb to or past tense, because right here we have Dr. Lee examined. That means everything is in the past tense. So if this said located, it could be used. And could be and located the source, but it's locate. It's a bare infinitive in a past tense, so it must have some form of to, but this is the trick one. Due to must be followed by a noun. All right, good job.
Thank you.
Good detective work.
Yeah.
Number 7, please turn blank all cell phones and recording devices at the security desk before entering the meeting room, as this briefing is top secret. A, in, B, on, C, under, D, off. Pretty obvious, right?
Not really. Yes, right. First, I have to confess. The first time when I saw this question, you see, turn, right? And
Yes.
then all cell phones, my brain immediately picked the word off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But read further.
Yeah, if you read further, you
Yeah.
can see there's something else going on. Yes, you could turn off all cell phones and recording devices because of the top secret meeting. Yes, but there's something in the middle.
Right.
At the security desk.
So you have to cut immediately, right?
Yeah, you have to
choice
cut
B
D.
and D as well.
Yeah,
B, C, D.
right.
So therefore the correct answer is turn in, right?
Yeah, again, it's one of those phrasal verbs that we use together to mean something specific, and turn in means give to someone else. So please turn in all cell phones and recording devices at the security desk before entering the meeting room, as this briefing is top secret. 8. Ms. Benson and her colleagues are quite efficient at drafting proposals, but Susan appears to be the blank. A. Efficientist. B. More efficient. C. Most efficient. And D. As efficient. Easy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Because you see the keyword the,
Yeah.
right? So then I can choose the correct answer, either A or let me see, C.
Yeah,
right?
okay. So good job. So the here is the keyword. The article the is the keyword. If you have the in a sentence like this, when you have a group of people or more than two things, you must have some form of the superlative, and the superlative is always used with the and then either most or est. There's a trick to which one. Look at the number of syllables. If you have a word with 3 syllables or more, it's always going to be most. If you have a word with only 1 syllable, it's always going to be est. But this one has more than 1 syllable, more than 2 syllables, so therefore it has to be est. There's another trick for 2-syllable words, but we're not going to get into that now because it's much more complicated. Instead, we see this has 3 syllables, that's more than 2, then we cannot use the est form. So the answer is C, most efficient. A. Ms. Benson and her colleagues are quite efficient at drafting proposals, but Susan appears to be the most efficient. Number 9. The current strategy of the institution seems to be to blank additional restrictions on student requirements instead of allowing easier access to our courses. A. Impose. B. Repose. C. Depose. D. Suppose. All right, another difficult one.
Yes, right.
This is all about vocabulary.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you see there?
Okay, here you can see A, B, C, D have the same word, pose.
Yeah.
So
good.
then you have to understand the meaning of the prefix, I
Yeah,
guess,
that's
right?
perfect. That's exactly right. And unfortunately, with words with suffixes and prefixes, often the prefix utterly change the word. So pose means to put forward as, but impose, repose, depose, and suppose all have very, very different meanings. So once again, vocabulary is learned over time and usage. The more you use words and the more you find new words, the more vocabulary you're going to acquire. So keep at it. All right, impose is the correct answer here by the meaning. Impose means to force onto someone, and we can see current strategy and additional restrictions instead of easing. So impose is the forceful putting forward of something, and so that's why impose is the correct answer. For you vocabulary fanatics, those of you who want to learn a little more vocabulary as we go, repose means to lie down or to stay still. Depose means to remove a ruler, and suppose means to think that. So number 9 should be, The current strategy of the institution seems to be to impose additional restrictions on student requirements instead of allowing easier access to our courses. Number 10. Mr. Edgar has tried very hard to improve his delivery, blank. People still doze off during his speeches. A. Hence. B. However. C. So. D. Although. So, Yudee, is there anything that you can see here?
Yes, I noticed punctuation marks.
Yeah.
The semicolon.
Yep,
and
semicolon.
Comma.
Yeah, excellent. This tells you something.
Yes, right?
Look for the punctuation. The punctuation shows us that it cannot be a coordinating conjunction and it cannot be a subordinating conjunction. If it were a coordinating conjunction, it would be comma here, no comma after. If it were a subordinating conjunction, there would be no punctuation. We'll talk more about sentence structure in the future, but this requires what's called a conjunctive adverb, which is also a form of conjunction, and the two that are available here are hence and however. Both use the same punctuation. Now it's down to the meaning. Doze off means to fall asleep. Even if you didn't know that, you can use the keyword still to tell us that something is opposite to the first one. So Mr. Edgar has tried very hard to be a better speaker, and yet people still fall asleep. So then by meaning must be however, because hence means so, however means but. All right, number 10. Mr. Edgar has tried very hard to improve his delivery. However, people still doze off during his speeches. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for future English tutorial videos. Bye-bye.